Another question that we receive frequently is, well, can I be cured of pornography addiction? Again, from the national level on down, there is a great movement afoot to change the way we look at addiction. From the old model, which is the acute model, which gives the impression that an individual can be cured, to the recovery management model, which indicates what we've learned now, that this is a recovery process that lasts through a lifetime. I met with an individual last night for the first time who was approached from his ecclesiastical leader with the cure model. If you, boom, do this, draw the line in the sand and never cross it again, then you're kind of like, there's no reason to ever relapse. It kind of gives the feeling that he should be cured. Well, he's gone 2 years. 2 years of complete sobriety. And then last week he gave me a call saying, I am fearing for my life because I feel myself sliding down into this path again. I had the opportunity, just a brief window of opportunity, because he's having, I don't need to tell the details of the story, but anyway, he got online where he had a lot of things in place to prevent that, with passwords and stuff, and family members were helping him. Well, the computer broke down, and then they got it fixed, and then the password was temporarily disabled, and after 2 years, he got online for a few hours and started looking at pornography again. And then he ends up in my office just pulling his hair up going, what in the world just happened to me? How did that happen? And again, and then I explained the whole concepts of the two-part brain, and the concept of acute management, treatment of this, and then recovery management, treatment of this whole process of recovery. And then he had his eyes opened, and he understands, and pretty much everyone I talk to who struggles with this addiction understands by the time they get in here that this is going to be an ongoing process. You don't get cured from this thing. Can it be an absolute full remission? Yes, it can. Can you be in full recovery? Yes, of course you can. But that comes by applying the principles that you're taught in the Inner Gold Manual and in the book, The Language of Recovery. When an individual is applying these principles on a consistent basis, the probability greatly increases that they will be able to maintain their sobriety. And that's explained in all the education that one will receive by going through this process. But it's not a cure. There isn't a cure for this. The limbic system is the instinctive survival part of our brain, and you can't make it go away. And that has been a big challenge for many who don't understand addiction, that they think once you've been clean and sober for a while, you should never have a trigger anymore, you shouldn't be tempted anymore. It simply doesn't work that way. There will always be temptations from time to time, there will always be triggers, but that doesn't mean that you need to give in to them. It just means that you need to accept the fact that happens, and that's a normal part of life. When you're able to do that, you don't fight it in the same way, and that actually, because of the way the limbic system works, you're not actually making it stronger and more like the beast coming alive inside of you. So, again, it's an ongoing process, but absolute full recovery can be realized, but you can learn and to be completely sober. The most classic example that I'm aware of how this principle works is that an individual who has been struggling with an addiction for many years got into sobriety and got well entrenched in the 12-step program and made it a form of his life, and he was completely clean and sober for 20 years. And this is how the limbic system works. So they were having a big party for him, his 20-year sobriety party, and and in the AA philosophy, when you're clean and sober for a while, 30 days, 60 days, you get a little chip, a little coin that's really a cool looking thing, and there are all kinds of different designs and colors and so forth. But when he received his 20-year coin and had this big party, and then the party was kind of winding down and people were leaving, what do you think his limbic system said to him? The thought came to him congratulations, you've been 20 years sober. Let's go have a drink. Let's go celebrate, this 20 years of sobriety. And he listened to that voice and went out and had a drink again, and then started on the path until he got into recovery again. Now, does that mean that he's a complete failure and that 20 years is not valuable? Absolutely not. He's a wonderful individual. He had a slip after 20 years of sobriety. And that's kind of, a challenge in my mind in doing this work for so long. I'm not so big on counting days or weeks or months or years of how long you've been sober, because it can be counterproductive. So if you're really big into those days, I've heard this so many times, gosh, I was sober for 90 days and then I slipped again. And then it's like I have to start all over again. No, you don't. You don't start all over again. You pick yourself up right where you're at. You start applying these daily principles and you get yourself moving. You don't throw in the towel and start all over again. This is a process that happens through time. The question then becomes only, what did you learn from this last slip or relapse? Is this really what you want in life? Is this really giving you the answers that you need or providing the comfort that you need? It's by continually asking yourself these questions that you can begin to find that desire and motivation for ongoing, lasting recovery and sobriety.